Here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I am so glad to continue talking about Luigi's Mansion 3 because it is one of my favorite games of this year, and probably my favorite since there wasn't much of a release. But either way, we are continuing talking about the game in its entirety, as last week we already talked about the boss ghosts, but this time we are talking about the floors. We have a grand total of 17 different floors, similar to our 17 boss ghosts, and we're going to be ranking them from lowest to highest. Now, a couple things to note before we get started. This is purely opinion based on myself and how I play the game and how I enjoy these floors. Also, it's not always necessarily based on the size of the floor, rather all the cool knickknacks and stuff that the floor provided. We will also not be talking about any of the floor ghosts, as that was already part of its own list. And also, if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed. We are super close to 50,000 subs, and I thank each and every single one of you guys for helping me reach this goal of mine. I really appreciate it, and without further ado, let's get into the list. Number 17 on our list, we have the basement. Now, this one was kind of obvious. There was nothing really here. This is where you start the game. This is where you get Egad's lab back, and you start getting all your missions and stuff through him and through this basement. This is the starting point, the lowest point, well, almost the lowest point before we get to B2. But this is pretty much where you start the game and learn all the mechanics and the controls, right where Egad came in himself, as you can see his car and everything here. Not much here, just kind of the starting point. Number 16, you have the Grand Lobby. Now, there's nothing really special about this either. It's actually a rather small area compared to the rest of the hotel, but it's really cool. You get to see this place in the beginning when it's all nice, and then afterwards when it gets all haunted, and it's cool to see the before and after contrast, and I just think it's a cool area, a little bit better than the basement. Number 15, you have the mezzanine, and this is just one floor higher where you have a little bit of rooms and also the chef's kitchen, which is a cool area to explore because it kind of gives you the original Luigi Mansion feel. You can go through these different rooms and these different suites and even like other hallways and lobbies to check out where everybody used to stay, and you can even see, like I said, the kitchen. We can get the chef ghost and all kind of stuff like that. But I think it's a really cool area with the kitchen, tons of food, and there's just cool things to look at when you go into other people's rooms. Kind of creepy, but nevertheless a cool place. Number 14, we have the RIP Suites. Now, to me, this was slightly better than the mezzanine just because there were a lot of rooms that you can go check, a lot of bathrooms that you can find secrets in, and you can even go outside of the mansion for a brief second and walk on the ledge, which was kind of creepy and crazy that they threw that in there. There's laundry mats and all kind of small little alleyways and hallways where there's vending machines and even comfortable chairs, and it really felt like a hotel. Number 13, we have the Great Stage. Now, this floor had a big emphasis on Amadeus Wolfgeist, the boss ghost, but it did have a couple little cool things that made it fun. It was a music-themed floor, so there was lots of secrets based around that. You can blow certain tubes in order to play the original Luigi's Mansion song, and there was a whole bunch of cool little knickknacks and Easter eggs that you could do with the musical instruments. You can blow in the tuba, and you can even slam the cymbals on top of each other for some noise, and just the concert hall itself looked amazing. You could even go in the backstage of Amadeus Wolfgeist's room and look at his piano and play some cool tunes from Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Number 12, we have the dance hall. It was a pretty clever hall considering the fact that the boss battle was kind of fun, but the hall itself was very small and they really didn't utilize it as much as I would have hoped. It's just a hallway with a couple of shops along the way, and they really didn't do anything besides that, besides having the music play in the background. But when you did beat the boss, it was cool to use the super vacuum to suck up everything around and see the, once again, backstage of the main boss battle. Number 11, a Natural History Museum. Now, this one hurt a lot because I thought this one had the most potential. In fact, I'm actually going to make a video on this later on, how this could actually be an entire brand new Luigi's Mansion game based on a creepy museum like Night at the Museum. But this was a really big disappointment because it was mainly focused on the boss itself, which was an excellent boss battle, but the rooms before it wasn't much. It was just a wraparound hallway that led to the main room where the T-Rex was. And you could just find a couple of artifacts, some bones, but it looked really cool to see the bones on the wall and hidden posters and stuff revealing some cool secrets. And they even had some really cool artifacts and stuff hidden behind glass that you had to break with either dinosaur bones or eggs or whatever was lying around, and I thought that was really cool. I really just liked this floor simply because of the potential that it had, not really how it was executed. Now we move on to my final top 10, and at number 10 we have the Boiler Works, which is B2, the lowest place of the hotel. It is absolutely a hassle to get through this floor, and personally, I did not find it that much fun. There was a lot of content here, but it just wasn't that great to me. You had to float down this river on a raft, and if your raft hit any type of spikes, you popped out and had to restart. And the mechanics in moving the raft was actually really clunky with the vacuum, and it didn't really always feel smooth. And the entire time, you had Luigi going on top of the walls and through pipes collecting things and making a way for Luigi. And then the entire time, you're just floating through this river, and eventually you get the water flushed. And then you have to walk on the floor itself and traverse the whole entire floor that way. And that's just a completely boring amount of things that you can do. What also sucks is if you're going through a gym run or trying to get some extra coins before you beat the final boss, you can't get certain things because they're hidden behind brick walls that only Toad can break, which he was only available during a certain section, which is a bummer if you really want to go for that A rank. Number 9, Garden Suites. This is another one that I didn't really like, because if you're going to backtrack, for instance looking for Polter Kitty, this can be a hassle. After beating the floor, you get the vine extended all the way to the top, and you can actually slide down once at the top. But that's the problem. You can only slide down if you're at the top, meaning that if you're in the middle or the bottom, you have to still walk all the way back down and swing across the vines all the way down. You can't even jump and hurt yourself to fall down because it will just spawn you right back on a leaf. This is a really cool room for the floors, however, because you can go into each room and you can go into multiple different layers as if you're going up the hotel once again. And you can go into different rooms and see the suites and see the bathrooms and see all the vines and throw watermelon around. And it could be really cool based on that. But if we're trying to maneuver this place, it is a hassle, let me tell you. The highlight, however, was definitely the chainsaw cutter. That thing was a blast to cut everything in that room. And I mean, you can literally cut anything. Number 8, the Spectral Catch. Now this boss was one of the best boss battles I've fought in a very long time, and the floor wasn't that bad. The floor was actually themed after, obviously, pirates, and the very beginning was kind of the pirate entrance, and you can even suck up the giant boat, but once you get into the first door, it takes you into the pirate grotto cave. And here you can see lots of desks, even a little cantana where maybe Ghost would make some drinks, and then you get into the giant atmosphere of the level. This is a giant ocean full with sand and everything, and it feels real like a beach, almost like you're on an island. And it's really cool to see the entire room full of ocean water, but it really does stink that you can't go in that water, only on the boat that pulls up. And you can actually make the boat pull up, which is a really cool touch, and the boat has a really big impact on this level. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the actual ghost here, but let me tell you, this pirate ship does more than just pull up to the dock. Number 7, Castle McFrights. This floor is based off of medieval times, where you will see lots of castle themes with knights and all types of dungeons and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool, but I still feel like with this one they could have also done more with. There's lots of puzzles that you have to use Luigi to get through spikes, because Luigi cannot do that. There's also some cool like Reaper people that shoot bow and arrows at you, and you have to walk through with Luigi and try to crash things on top of them in order to get Luigi to walk through, which is also pretty neat. There's lots of secrets hidden in barrels and lots of crates, and there's a lot of references to tomatoes and tomato carts, which people would throw at the gladiators in the Colosseum. The Colosseum is great too, where the final battle takes place, so this floor was pretty good. I especially like the room where you have to use Luigi to get Luigi out of the cell quickly before he gets smashed by the spiked walls. That was really cool and very urgent of a mission. Number 6, Hotel Shops. I thought this was an amazing floor, how it resembled a mall, and there's lots of shops that you can go in, from jewelry to tourist attractions, and you can go in and pretty much do little tiny missions and challenges inside each one. The main theme of this floor was a giant puzzle revolving one key that the mall cop ghost drops. Yes, it's Paul Blart, we've been through this. But the key will lead you to a cash register that matches the symbol, and you have to use that cash register's key to find the next one, and so on. And it's really cool to go through all these different rooms. And this really put a big emphasis on Luigi, because Luigi couldn't cross these rooms as they were blocked off by a security gate. Number 5, Fitness Center. I love places that are kind of out of the usual for normal level themes, and a fitness gym is one of those. This is a really cool place where you can go throughout locker rooms and open lockers and pull out baseball equipment, soccer, football, all kind of really cool sporting equipment. There's even a weight room and a yoga room with some really nice puzzles revolving mirrors that move back and forth. You can even go on an exercise bike and even ride a full treadmill and have Luigi fall off it. There's so many cool things in this, and especially when you get to the pool room for the final boss. But this room is a really nice example of how a really basic small floor can do a lot of little things to make it look really cool and really fun. Number 4, Tomb Suites. This place could either be your very favorite level or the worst nightmare, because it has kind of a mixed feeling to it. First off, you open into this giant room full of sand, and the sand mechanics is flawless in this game. You can pretty much pick up ghosts and slam them and see their prints in the sand. You can blow sand to make mounds that you can walk up on to reach higher areas, and it's just such a cool concept. But if you're really going to find everything in this room, you're going to pretty much have to clear out the entire room of sand, which can be tedious. You'll then make your way down to the bowels of the dungeons. It kind of reminds me of The Legend of Zelda, where there's lots of rooms with different puzzles that you'll have to solve. You'll have mummies chasing you and all kinds of booby traps going off when you step on a wrong switch on the ground. I really like this stage, and filling it up with sand at the end to exit was a great way to end the floor. Number 3, Twisted Suites. This room reminded me the most of the original Luigi's Mansion, simply because it was all segmented based on little rooms that looked like parts of a house. You had a bathroom, you had a bedroom, you had stuff like that, and it really felt all together that way. It wasn't anything crazy or any type of crazy theme, but it was pretty much magician themed. There was kind of like a table with a saw through it, decks of cards, swords, all kinds of targets and stuff like that, but it was a really fun floor, and I really enjoyed the little mini puzzles in each room. You will then get to a point where all the rooms get switched and swapped, and you don't know exactly which way you're going, and in each room is inhabited by ghosts, kind of like the Blackout from the original Luigi's Mansion. Number 2, Master Suites. The Master Suites is the 15th floor of the game, the last floor, and it's owned by Helen Gravely. This is where she does her work, and this is her area. She's got murals of King Boo everywhere, and the goal of this one is to collect 4 keys in order to open the giant King Boo vault in order to reach her main office. And you'll have to find these keys hidden through different hidden rooms in the floor. What's also cool is that each room that has a key requires some type of specific puzzle to be completed, similar once again to The Legend of Zelda. And you also have to use your gust from your vacuum cleaner in order to reveal lasers that are scattered across the room. You'll have to traverse them Mission Impossible style in order to grab the key, but the floor itself is very well, cleanly organized. It feels really nice and neat, and it does feel like the end, the grand final of the hotel. And our number 1 favorite floor in Luigi's Mansion 3 has to be Paranormal Productions. This was just an amazing attempt from Nintendo to create something magnificently different than what we've experienced in the past. This whole floor is based on film and movie editing, and everything is kind of a cameo or a reference to something in the past. There's movie posters of Little Mac from Punch-Out and even Mario Strikers, and then you'll go into floors to see other cameos from real-life movies, such as E.T. and Pacific Rim. But pretty much the main room will branch off into 4 different director sets, and each set will represent some type of movie that you can actually play through the camera and have Luigi be a part of it, which is an incredible idea. Not only that, but the puzzle in this floor is exceptional, and it's actually very difficult to figure out maybe your first time. So it will all interlock between each room, and you have to use the television sets to keep warping back to the middle room and figuring out what you have to do next. I'm not going to give away the puzzle here, but let me tell you, it is a difficult one for an earlier floor. I know I can't really talk about the boss here, but the little city setup that Morty sets you in is so cool for the boss battle. Everything about this stage and about this floor is so good, from the very minute details. The hidden gems are really hard to find on this floor too, and everything just matches up to be a really good, hard-working floor. I just wish Nintendo didn't show us too much of this during E3. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Once again, this was just my opinion list, and if you guys disagree, just let me know down in the comments below what you guys think so I can see what you're thinking. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe in order to get us to 50,000 subscribers. We are very close, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.